It is author, life coach, and motivational speaker Sunday Adelijah who said personal responsibility leads to national transformation. And I make reference to say, let us all, you who have arrived home from abroad, you who are visiting, and we who are here, practice the COVID-19 safety measures. This is to protect the health of the people and rid this Irie nation of any further outbreak from this pandemic. And oh, what a transformation that would be. Hello, I'm Adrian at Kingston, and you're watching Jamaica Magazine, the show that inspires, educates, and informs.
What to do if you think you have been exposed or are experiencing signs and symptoms of COVID-19? Immediately call 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. In addition, you should stay at home. Don't go to work, school, or any public place. Do not use public transport, and avoid visitors to your home. You may need to do this for up to 14 days to reduce the spread of the infection. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, July 9. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, is projecting that the Jamaican economy will recover faster from COVID-19 than it did from the 2008-2009 global recession. The PIOJ made the assertion on July 8 in a presentation at the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development, HLPF. The expectation is that Jamaica's economy will recover within 2 to 4 years and employment within 1 to 3 years. According to the PIOJ, this is due to the relative strength of the Jamaican economy and the stimulus packages that have been rolled out both locally and globally. The United Nations High-Level Political Forum is the main platform for UN member states to report on progress towards Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The PIOJ reported that it was anticipated that there would be slippages in meeting some targets under the SDGs and the country's Vision 2030 National Development Plan, but said the country had reaffirmed its commitment to implementing these. The Ministry of Finance has announced a 2-month extension of both the Set Cash and Best Cash components of government's COVID Allocation of Resources for Employees CARE program. The Supporting Employees with the Transfer of Cash, Set Cash, provides temporary monetary transfers to individuals who have been earning $1.5 million or less and whose employment was terminated after March 10 as a result of the impact of COVID-19 on economic activity. The Business Employee Support and Transfer of Cash, Best Cash program does the same for businesses operating within the tourism industry that are registered with the Tourism Product Development Company. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark told Parliament on Tuesday that both sets of grants will continue up to August.
Instead of receiving 3 monthly grants, they will now receive 5 monthly grants, Mr. Speaker, and just under 50,000 Jamaicans will benefit from this extension of the Set Cash and the Best Cash grants.
Dr. Clark says the decision to extend the payments is based on the fact that while jobs are slowly being restored, recovery will take some time. The $10 billion CARE program was created to alleviate the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on individuals and entities. Minister Clark says that as at July 1, disbursements have been made to over 396,000 persons under the program's various components. Jamaica is to receive 4.7 million Canadian dollars or 498 million Jamaican dollars to facilitate the payment of premiums to the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility Segregated Portfolio Company. The money will be provided under the Canada CARICOM Climate Adaptation Fund facility, which is being implemented by the Caribbean Development Bank. The Canadian High Commission says the allocation can be used either towards premiums for 2020-2021 or combined to cover a portion of both 2020-2021 and 2021-2022 premiums. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the country is appreciative of the support, which will assist in its disaster risk financing strategy. Meanwhile, Canada's High Commissioner to Jamaica, Her Excellency Laurie Peters, says she hopes the support will create fiscal space and free up domestic financial resources to allow Jamaica to address the impacts of the COVID-19 crisis. And finally, the National Works Agency, NWA, is now conducting preliminary activities to replace stolen fiber optic cables at the Old Causeway Bridge in Portmore. Communication Manager at NWA, Stephen Shaw, says the recent theft of the cables has severely weakened the NWA's ability to monitor traffic signals along networks in Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, and Clarendon. He adds that this has made it difficult for the agency to respond in real time to any traffic pileup or mishap motorists may experience across those networks. The repairs are expected to cost approximately $1 million. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
A major focus of the Ministry of National Security is to build out the technology infrastructure of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The intention? To strengthen capacity, increase resilience on technology, and build trust in the police force. Portfolio Minister Dr. Horace Chang has the details.
The build-out of technology infrastructure is a major priority for the Ministry of National Security during the 2020-2021 financial year. This is to enable a stronger and more resilient security force as it responds to crime and works to restore public trust and a safer society for all. Portfolio Minister Dr. Horace Chang outlined a few areas while making his contribution to the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives. He says the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF will focus on the expansion of the smart checkpoint facility, under which 120 police vehicles are being installed with tablets. In addition, provision is being made for access to the central database system for the service vehicles.
Which means you no longer have to call in or write paper tickets. From their service vehicle, they'll be able to enter on their smart computer, their laptops, and get the data they require about any particular vehicle or individual they might be apprehending.
Other advancements in technology will see approximately 200 body-worn cameras being deployed, radio and microwave communication systems being expanded, as well as increased capacity for surveillance through the closed-circuit television CCTV network.
Robust use of technology will lead to the trust and confidence by means of the JCF and the public alike. The goal is to deliver the right service in the right way, enabled by modern technologies and underpinned by professional standards and values of policing.
Minister Chang says this technology-driven component of the JCF's modernization will ensure that all Jamaicans have access to improved policing systems and a greater sense of safety and security. He says the overall modernization, restructuring and reform of the JCF are designed to optimize efficiency of the force across several divisions. These include the expansion of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, the Inspectorate, and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau, and the Criminal Investigations Branch. Focus is also being placed on increased recruitment and training for members of the Specialized Operations Branch and the Technology Branch.
That's the kind of event that gives me confidence in what we're doing in the police force, and I feel confident that in due course, this police force, given the right tools, the right numbers, the right training, we will be getting on top of the criminal activity and dismantling the gangs in this country.
While this work of institutional transformation is taking place within the JCF, the Ministry of National Security will continue to oversee and organize strategic and targeted social intervention initiatives to prevent crime. Minister Chang says this includes more zones of special operations, ZOZOs.
In addition to that, we'll be looking at all the communities to see what we can do to ensure aspects of these special intervention can be introduced to ensure that the young men and young women of these difficult communities are offered productive opportunities that will allow them a different lifestyle and to achieve their ambitions. That is the object of our new approach to social intervention as we go forward, and it will be visible this year despite of the activity.
The social intervention initiatives will be branded under the Live Good campaign. Addressing the enforcement of road traffic laws, the National Security Minister says work is in progress for the implementation of the new Traffic Ticket Management System (TTMS) this year. The $25.6 million system will work in collaboration with the JCF, Court Management Services, Tax Administration Jamaica, Island Traffic Authority, and eGov Jamaica Limited. Another critical component of a resilient security apparatus is the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency MOCA.
It's an excellent agency, it's doing phenomenal work, and we will give them all the support they require.
Over the last financial year, the agency coordinated intelligence-led operations, which resulted in 35 new investigations. These investigations, supported by ongoing legal consultations, have resulted in a total of 157 cases currently before the courts. Additionally, the agency is actively investigating 68 cases, of which 21 are classified as significant.
I want to reassure this country, MOCA is not only proving its worth and value, but it's operating as an independent, highly professional body of which this country can take pride in and can give them all the support required.
Regulations were approved in both Houses of Parliament for independent status of MOCA. The agency is now in the final stage of negotiation with the Ministry of Finance on appropriate remuneration, after which a date will be given for separation. The resilience of the country's security infrastructure is also heavily reliant on strong border management and coastal surveillance systems.
PICA and the Coast Guard are the two critical agencies in ensuring our coastal waters are protected and we can deal with the problem of transnational criminal activity.
To this end, the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency PICA has undertaken a digital transformation of its border management operations. This has resulted in its online passenger declaration form and adult passport renewal system. PICA has also installed 15 additional automated border crossing kiosks at the Sangster International Airport, bringing the total number to 50.
This kind of activity is critical in being able to monitor not only efficiency of entering our country, but in monitoring or in ensuring our borders are safe and we can monitor the throughput of criminal activity or activities who may be coming through.
Meanwhile, the Coast Guard has added one FCS 5009 cutter to its fleet of offshore patrol vehicles. It is equipped with the latest technology and is able to patrol our waters under various weather conditions. Minister Chang says with the guns for drugs trade remaining a significant threat to the security of our people, this will improve the security forces' capability to interdict the illicit flow of these contrabands and the transshipment of cocaine.
And we can assure the people of this country in a very strong position to effectively manage our borders and reduce the impact of the kind of criminal activity that currently feeds the gangs in Jamaica.
Meanwhile, strong and long-standing partnership with local and international stakeholders have been of value to the country's anti-crime strategic plan.
The recent interception of international drug smuggling network was an example of our work with international partners. This case in particular symbolized a new dispensation for JCF, which is the JCF in all forms. It's a JCF in which all forms of illegal activities are vehemently condemned. The JCF has a zero tolerance for all acts and actors of criminality. This is the Jamaica Consular Force we are building as a JCF we know today.
COVID-19 has reinforced the need for us to keep our health in check. While we do that, it is also important for us to know the actual causes of any illness we may have, as well as what is not true. Next, we rule out the myths surrounding epilepsy.
It is not duppy take you over, it is not spirits. We have these myths that we do need to dispel in Jamaica. Some people think it's contagious, and it is not contagious. You cannot catch epilepsy. Anyone, anytime can get epilepsy.
So, what is epilepsy? It's a disorder of the brain characterized by recurrent seizures, which are short periods of involuntary movements involving a part of the body, a partial or focal seizure, or the entire body, a generalized seizure. Our brains run on electricity which is produced by cells called neurons. In some people, these neurons sometimes produce a sudden electrical burst or power surge, resulting in a seizure.
Epilepsy is a chronic disorder, just like asthma or diabetes. It's a disorder of the brain. And so when a patient has a seizure, they do have unusual behavior at the time of their seizure. But otherwise, they're usually quite normal. It's also not a mental illness. People with epilepsy are not crazy. It's a brain disorder, but it's not a mental illness.
The cause of epilepsy can be genetic,
meaning that you can be born with a genetic disorder that predisposes your brain to be abnormally wired, and that you are more likely to produce these epileptic discharges and have seizures recurrently. Sometimes you may have, when the baby is being formed in the first few months of their embryological life, you may have an abnormality happening with the brain formation.
Then, there are other conditions that can occur at any time during someone's life that can cause epilepsy.
Those conditions that are acquired would be those related to a physical injury to the brain or an infection in the brain, such as meningitis, which is an infection of the covering around the brain, or an encephalitis, which is an infection of the brain substance itself, as well as you may have stroke, decreased blood supply, nutrients going to the brain, also causing seizures and epilepsy.
Seizures do not always involve convulsions or jerking of the body. There are in fact over 20 different seizure types. Many are quite subtle, as in the case of 12-year-old Liana.
We found out when she was about 3 months old. It was something very subtle. We found out that she was just staring in one direction for probably a minute or two, keeping that stare.
For Marvin Fullerton, his experience was different.
I first found out in 1994, November 1994, when I was in technical high school. What I did was feeling some itching on my skin. I went to the school nurse, asked her what was wrong with me, and she told me that I need to change my bath soap. Right.
And what happened after that?
Well, I changed my bath soap and nothing really changed after. But it was January 4, 1995 when I had my first attack. And I woke up in my father's car going to hospital.
Even though he was soon diagnosed with epilepsy, Marvin was able to live a normal life for most of his years as a student.
I was able to go to school. I was put on simple medications such as Tegitol CR 200. No problem. It was easy taking it. It prevented me from having an attack, but my body was not having much problems at those times.
Marvin went on to attend the Vocational Training Development Institute, VTDI, and the University of Technology. He holds a diploma in architecture and construction management. But despite his academic achievements, he still has challenges gaining employment.
I'm not working right now because it was just the other day I was in the hospital, right? And I got an interview for a job. The interview was wonderful, but I was in the hospital, so the job somewhat got turned down. They found out about the situation and I got turned down.
Unfortunately, there are those who believe that persons with epilepsy cannot work or lead normal lives.
Most people, 70 to 80% of people with epilepsy, can have their seizures controlled. It's the person you employ who you don't yet have their first seizure. Those are the ones that you should be worried about, because any of us can develop epilepsy for different reasons at any time.
If you believe someone is having a seizure, there are some things you should never do.
Do not put any objects in the mouth. Do not put a spoon to hold the tongue down. Do not bring scallion. Do not take a dirty sneaker and put over the face.
So then, what should you do?
You need to cushion their heads. Whether you have a cushion or a jacket, you can take off and make a cushion just to support the head so they don't damage themselves. You loosen, if it's a man with a tie, loosen his clothing so that he can get some air and he can relax. You turn the person on the side. Do not put them with their heads right back. Turn them on their side and the tongue will fall and any fluids of the mouth will drain out to the side. And I guarantee you, you cannot swallow your tongue. A seizure would take between 3 to 5 minutes. Now, if the seizure continues for more than 5 minutes, you should take that person to the hospital.
The Jamaican Association for Epilepsy offers support for persons with epilepsy and their families. The association also holds regular meetings with members at the Andrews Hospital to share experiences and discuss concerns. They can be contacted at telephone 968-8274 or email jaepilepsy@gmail.com.
Can you name an offence that would cause a motor vehicle to be seized? Well, driving without a license plate is one. Head of the Communications Division of the JCF, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, will tell us about a few others.
And I'll tell you first about the reasons when the police should not seize the vehicles, because they don't have the lawful authority to do so. If you don't have a driver's license in your possession, the police should not seize the vehicle. They can prosecute you under the Road Traffic Act. Now, there's a difference between not having a driver's license and not having your driver's license in your possession. If a person was never issued with a driver's license, that person clearly should not be driving a motor vehicle. What the police will do in those circumstances is that, for one, the person will be prosecuted. If they find out that the owner of the vehicle allowed the individual without a driver's license to use the vehicle, that person, the owner, can be prosecuted as well. Otherwise, the police will take possession of the motor vehicle because they will not allow a continuation of the offense. They will take possession of the motor vehicle and will get someone who has a driver's license or the owner to come and claim that vehicle. We don't seize a motor vehicle for no insurance coverage. The person will be prosecuted, but it is not a seizable offense. No registration of fitness is not a seizable offense. The police can lawfully seize your vehicle if the vehicle is not licensed. There is a provision in law that is referred to as the month of grace. So 1 month after your registration expires, if you're within that 1 month period, the police should not seize the vehicle. Your vehicle can be seized lawfully if you don't have a registration plate affixed. So you're driving around with no registration plate, it can be seized. Or if the registration plate is so obscure that you can't see what's on it, your vehicle can be seized under the Road Traffic Act. There are other acts that the police can lawfully seize your motor vehicle. For instance, if you are operating in contravention with the provisions of your license that was issued to you, your vehicle can be seized under the Road Traffic Act as well. Also, under the Dangerous Drug Act, Section 24 of that act allow the police to seize vehicle if the vehicle is suspected to be used in commission of those offenses. Also, on a broader sense, is that if the police have reason and evidence that your vehicle was involved in a criminal activity, then the vehicle can be seized and the owners can be held accountable even if they were not the ones that were driving the vehicle at the time. So those are the circumstances when your vehicle can be lawfully seized by the police. There are other provisions when you can have your vehicle towed. If you park in areas that are designated no parking, if you park your motor vehicles that are too close to fire hydrants, then your vehicles can be towed. And in instances where your vehicles are seized, the vehicle should not be returned to you until the provisions of the law is satisfied. So if your vehicle was seized for not being registered or licensed, it will not be returned to you until you go and get your vehicle licensed and you pay the appropriate and prescribed fines. Then your vehicle will be released to you. So it's important for persons to know when your vehicle can be lawfully seized as opposed to when it cannot be lawfully seized.
Jamaica me there, a doctor for me, yes. Yeah, hear me now. The place I know and the place I grow, Jamaica is my home. For better or worse, yes, she comes first. Never, never leave my base. The road is long and the way is steep. Silent river runs deep. You never miss the water till the well runs dry. Jamaica, a true paradise. Never count out the people. We're always vibrant and strong, yeah. Don't take us for granted, or you will be totally wrong, yeah. Turn up the sound that we bust up the place. Come on, let's celebrate.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, gis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at gis.gov.jm or via tweet at GIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.